From Bill Finley and the best grounds crew in Major League Baseball at Busch Stadium. The field is clear, the lines are drawn, and the Cardinals and Mets are meeting in Game 3 of our series after a rain delay of about an hour or so. We welcome you back inside the broadcast booth. Mark Sweeney, Chip Carey. Going to be a fun one today. A chance for the Cardinals, Mark, to win their second series at home to start the season. And they'll try to do that behind Matthew Liberatore.
Yeah, it's been a good series. I think yesterday with Andre Palante and his pitching efforts along with the bullpen just gives Matthew Liberatore, the ace of the staff, an opportunity to win a series.
Last time out, Libby, 1 run, 7 hits over 5 innings, a couple of walks, a couple of strikeouts. You heard his chat with Jim Hayes. He would have liked to have gone another inning. But in our conversation with Oliver Marmol, there's something different about opening day versus your final couple of starts in the spring.
Yeah, the 90-degree heat probably factored in, but emotionally just taking on that responsibility, I thought it was the next step for Matthew Liberatore. If we take a look at his arsenal, it's 3 versions of his fastball. I think the cutter comes into play. Also the slider, as you mentioned earlier, Chip, he has thrown it more. That shape of that slider is going to get swing and miss. Also the ground balls, which is very important.
We'll see if he unfurls that split finger pitch, which he has shown a time or two in the spring. He did not throw it against Tampa Bay. And here's how the Cardinals line up defensively for Game 3. Thomas Ajayci gets his second start in left. Victor Scott and Nathan Church the start in right field. Jordan Walker the day off. Burleson Weatherholt, Mason Wynn, Nolan Gorman back at the hot corner, and Pedro Pajes is the man behind the plate. That's Carlos Mendoza. The Mets have a long day ahead of them. They head to San Francisco after we wrap things up today and start a 4-game series. And look, anytime you face the Mets, that's as good a top 5 as any in baseball to face offensively. A lot of all-stars and a lot of power, but they were held in check 3-0 last night.
Yeah, a couple of switch hitters, including Francisco Lindor, who tops that lineup. Also, a lot of right-handed presence in the Mets lineup today against Matthew Liberatore.
Libby's never beaten the Mets. He's 0-2 in his career. And he begins the rotation's second turn in order against New York here in Game 3. Lindor, Soto, and Bo Bichette coming up. Lindor 1 for 6 in the series. He'll flip around and bat right-handed. He's 1 for 4 as a right-handed hitter so far on the year. And after our delay, we are underway with a swinging foul ball. No balls and a strike. Lindor began the series with a leadoff triple and scored the first run. That came against Kyle Leahy. He's been quiet since. Lights are on. It's a misty, cool, breezy day here as the front has passed through. We're told we've got a window of about 2.5 hours or so. Might have some scattered rain showers, but it's thought we'll be able to play through. And neither the Mets nor Cardinals want to reschedule on an off day at a later date, so important to get this one in today. And the 0-2 pitch. Hope he didn't buy a ticket to go to the top of the Gateway Arch today.
Yeah, a lot of complaints from the kids with their parents taking them up on the arch today, but hopefully they're entering this ball game here.
1 ball, 2 strikes for Lindor. And did he go? He did not. Libby trying to follow up Andre Palante's good work last night. Palante 5 innings of shutout ball. And his first win of the season and a full count.
Well, if you're looking back at his first start, Chip, I think that fastball command wasn't on point, and it was those misses were exactly like that 2-2 pitch.
That's popped up into shallow center, and Mason Wynn drifts out, makes the over-the-shoulder catch. I can't tell you how hard that play has to be, looking up in the leaden gray skies. And he is so slick at handling the glove with his back to the infield. Good start for Libby. Juan Soto 3 for 7 with an RBI in the set. He's reached base in 40 consecutive games against the Cardinals. And so what is, Mark, your Toyota key today?
Well, don't let Piazza beat you. I mean, that's the key. April Fools, everybody. We understand Mike Piazza can't run down the line as fast as he used to. But honestly, controlling what they have to do with this Mets lineup, and a lot of it has to do with Juan Soto in the box. That'll make him uncomfortable.
Dizzy Dean would say that's a slider that's slud. And Soto sent to the seat of his pants on a mistake. 1 ball, 1 strike. This guy could hit in any era. Excellent eye. Plenty of power, too. And scribs this one toward third. Tricky spin, but Gorman stayed with it. And Libby gets a ground ball out. Something, Mark, the Cardinals staff has done an excellent job of on this homestand. 9
ground ball outs last night for Andre Palante. And this is what you're going to have to do. And this is a cue shot off of Juan Soto's bat. You could see off the end, and that had some odd spin to Nolan Gorman, but secures it and gets the easy out.
Bo Bichette is next, the Mets third baseman. 1 for 8. It's been a struggle for Bo in the early going. Lots of strikeouts for him, 8 of them in fact, and 1 for 8 in this series, but a couple of RBIs. Think he'll be just fine. He's 2 for his first 22. Up and away. 2 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, and I actually think that's the pressures of getting in a different uniform, you know, honoring that huge contract.
Perfectly placed, a sinker. That's why I said at the start of the series, Bo just needs a road trip. Go out, find yourself.
Yeah.
Hopefully in San Francisco, and then come back on a tear when the Mets get back to Citi Field. That one cracked toward right. Church on the run, still going, and he'll have no chance. Libby's come back, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Well, for Matthew Liberatore today, just getting a good feel for his off speed, he gives you different looks, and also that high release will give problems to a lot of the hitters. You'll see some awkward swings, you'll see some ground balls, and also fly balls, and defense behind him is always a priority.
Late swing on a slider. Libby threw 20 of those on opening day and had a 33% swing and miss rate. Tried it there, and Bichette was able to foul it away.
Yeah, the Mets look at that, the scouting report. They'll also review his video.
So he's overcooked a couple of sinkers here in the first inning. Another deep count. Jorge Polanco would be the next Mets hitter. He's their designated hitter. Outfield shades Bichette toward right. And Bichette putting up a fight.
Yeah, that's typical for Bo Bichette. He really likes to work inside the baseball. Almost has that Derek Jeter mentality of staying inside everything.
Pages to an E. They're coming inside and got it there, but another foul ball. So it'll take at least 9 pitches to take care of Bichette. Church retreats in right, and Liberatore wins the battle. A 1-2-3 top of inning number 1. Here come the Cardinals against longtime nemesis Freddie Peralta, now of the Mets, in the first inning at Busch Stadium. For the first 5 games, Mark, a lot of contact. They are creating havoc on the base paths, and a lot of that has to do with the man leading off, rookie J.J. Weatherholt has been an on-base machine.
And his first 2 at-bats last night against Kodai Senga, it almost seemed like he had a lot of experience against him. Well, here's Freddie Peralta. 17 wins last year, 33 starts for the Milwaukee Brewers.
His first look at Weatherholt, and his first pitch sails off the plate. 1 ball, no strikes.
Well, a lot of changeups to complement the four-seam fastball. Also, the slider comes into play. Also has the curveball.
That slider in his first start was a big difference maker. Through 23 of them, 15 whiffs.
Well, as we mentioned in the open, he gave up 2 home runs on opening day. That's a surprise and maybe a tack for the Cardinals. He's got a different gear on the fastball. That four-seamer, it just jumps at you. That's what gives him a lot of life at the top of the strike zone to watch out today.
Weatherholt's reached base all 5 games of his career, and takes that one low. A good changeup from the 17-game winner last year. Made 33 starts, and the Mets wanted a top of the rotation guy. They paid a heavy price to bring him from the Brewers, and it's an audition for Peralta. Mark, this is a man that will be a highly sought after free agent at season's end.
Well, last year's Mets pitching staff really faltered at the end of the year. Well, conversely, Carlos Mendoza knows Freddie Peralta's best work was at the end of the year, in the month of August and September.
The 2-2 pitch is struck out. High fastball takes care of Weatherholt, and there is out number 1. Next up is Ivan Herrera. He's our Bet365 betting odds player of the game. Over under on hits for the Cardinals DH today. Herrera, a couple of hits, a ringing double last night. And as exciting as the offense was, Mark, everybody was impressed with the way he received the baseball.
Yeah, and I thought that was the best body work last night, even coming up with that huge hit that was the separator. How he handled the pitching staff, especially Andre Palante, was very well received. Here's Yadier Molina, the watchful eye, always watching the catching aspect, but really developed a huge relationship with Ivan Herrera during spring training.
Looks like Herrera's closed up his stance ever so slightly here in the last couple of days. His left foot was almost on the chalk in his first few at bats. It's a little closer to the plate now.
And he has that prep step where he just taps just a little bit. It's that timing mechanism. You know, a lot of guys will do that. You remember Chipper Jones used to do that step back and then do it there. It's really rhythm and timing is very important. It's been off just a little bit for Ivan Herrera, but you're starting to see that hard hit rate go up.
2 balls, 2 strikes. And now Peralta has a deep count. Sun's trying to peek through in St. Louis. Gray skies overhead. An official 1-hour rain delay before first pitch. Line toward right, inside out swing, and Herrera has the first Cardinal hit.
Well, this is the key, because he's line to line, as we mentioned, but when you have the fastball velocity and you can go the other way with authority, that's when it gets scary for Ivan Herrera. He can rack up multi-hit games, but also power the baseball. That's just really good execution.
Alec Burleson's reached base in every Cardinals game. They pitched him very carefully last night. Let's see what they do with him in the opening inning. Weatherholt struck out. Herrera a single. Now the Cardinals silver slugger and third place hitter Alec Burleson is up. Bichette way off the line at third. Here Burley tries to go the other way. They pitch him that way and missed badly. 2-0.
Yeah, Peralta slowed up. So does arm speed on that breaking ball. That would be a huge key if he makes that mistake and elevates one of those breaking balls.
Back up the middle and right at the second base bag. And they will force Herrera.
Oh boy.
I think he forgot how many outs there were. Lindor forgot there was only one out.
Well, that's a surprising event because that was a sure thing double play. Francisco Lindor, one of a rare mistakes.
Don't see that too often from a two-time Gold Glover. Semien at second, Bichette and Vientos over at first base, Alvarez behind the plate, Taylor, Robert, and Soto right to left in the outfield. That's made a couple of mistakes defensively in the outfield last night that helped the Cardinals along. Let's see if Lindor's mental error can be cashed in by Mason Wynn. Talked about timing for Herrera, just a tick off for Mason, who's 3 for his first 21. 1 ball, 1 strike. In our chat with Ali, he's been very impressed though with Mason. It hasn't changed his approach at the plate.
Yeah, because I think they have conversations with the players and what they're thinking. He has been very good with 2 strikes, shorten up, also choking up at times.
Cardinals entered play today with the 3rd lowest strikeout total. And they are 7th in runs. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Mason didn't get that. 96 on the black. And Peralta with bookend strikeouts in his first scoreless inning in St. Louis. Matthew Liberatore's off to a good start in St. Louis today. Andre Palante's season off to a good start. I think we'd agree, Jim Hayes.
Yeah, no question. 5 scoreless for Andre Palante last night. So, Andre, you said going into that start that you were hoping to show more pitches, be less predictable. Seemed like it worked.
Yeah, I thought I did a good job mixing all my pitches into both-handed batters, especially the pitches that Ollie told me to throw more of. So, and Dusty and Descalso. Sure, John Jay's in there somewhere too.
Yeah, they're like 2-3 feet away, so he has to play to the audience who understand it. Herrera behind the plate, second time getting a start catch. That's important to him to be behind the plate, and it looked like you guys got into a good groove.
Yeah, he caught me about 6 years ago when we were in Double-A together, so he knows exactly what I like to do. He did a great job calling a game back there, and he's been swinging the bat well. So.
How about this guy, Libby? You know, he's not an old guy, but he is sort of one of the veterans on the staff. Tell me about him.
Yeah, I think he looks really good right now. His velocity is looking really good. The development of that splitter he's throwing.
Nice play.
That's going to be important for him. Helps play off his changeup, which was so good for him last year. I think he looks really confident, looks really calm out there, and expecting good things.
I think it's a good time to ask you about the defense. When you're on the mound, you have pretty good defense behind you. What does that mean to a pitcher?
Yeah, when you're the guy that pitches to contact as much as I do, and a lot of the guys in our staff, having an elite defense helps so much. And these guys show up to play every single day. You play 162 of them. It's easy for get kind of trap taken to play off. They never do it, and a lot of appreciation for them for always playing hard behind us.
Thanks for the chat.
You're welcome.
Chip, the Cardinal pitching had been pretty good, huh?
Real good the first time through the rotation order. We'll see if Libby can keep up the good work. So far, so good. As Robert on the ground, left side. Gorman, Crow hops and fires quickly. 2 men out. That's the second ground ball out as we check out the final line score for Andre Palante last night.
Yeah, I thought the chemistry with Ivan Herrera behind the plate just eliminated a lot of decision making for Andre Palante. Everything is all about the ground balls. 9 ground ball outs for Andre last night. The defense was on point, and when you have a ground ball guy, it has to be a luxury to know that there's going to be a lot of opportunities, and that's what happened last night.
And look, one start does not a season make or erase. I think Andre would say last year was really tough for him. It was tough to see him go through the stretches that he went through, but he snapped an 8-game losing streak and got this new year, a year where everyone's going to be evaluated perhaps differently than ever before.
Yep.
Off to a terrific start.
Yeah, good point. And we saw a few kick changes. I think that is going to evolve and give him more opportunity to be able to get some swing and miss. But he said that Right. I mean, it's pitch to contact. He has to be aggressive.
Well, Libby's doing that. He's going to get his third ground ball out as Mark Vientos is out 5-3. Libby breezes through the second. No score with Nolan Gorman leading off. Score big on authentic gear at MLBshop.com. From official jerseys and memorabilia to hats and hoodies, we've got the season covered. Visit MLBshop.com/Cardinals, the official source for your Cardinals gear. Great view of Dirt Cam here in St. Louis as Nolan Gorman leads off. Couple of homers and 5 RBIs. And had a mighty cut there and found it straight back. Gorman's hit in the series, a home run. He can scratch the Mets off the list of teams against which he has yet to homer. There are just 4 left for the Cardinals third baseman, including our next opponent, the Detroit Tigers, who we'll see on Friday afternoon.
Looking forward to that series. Tigers home opener.
Framber Valdez, Jack Flaherty, Justin Verlander, the 3 Tigers starters scheduled. The Cardinals counter with Michael McGreevy Friday, Dustin May Saturday, and then Kyle Leahy Sunday night. 2 balls and a strike. So JC to follow Nolan Gorman in the St. Louis second. Rocket shot hit to right, but right at Taylor, who comes in a step or 2. A lot of top spin on that baby for out number 1. Mentioned Liberator's not beaten the Mets. Well, Freddie Peralta's never won a game in St. Louis. He's 0-3 in his career, but an asterisk on that. 6 career starts. He's gotten 1 run or less in all of them.
Something's got to give, right?
Here's the JC. Thomas is 0 for 4 on the young campaign. Second start in left. Made a nice diving catch with his first chance. The ball always finds you, and JC was able to grab it.
Yeah, we had a good laugh in the locker room about that because it does. It finds you wherever you go. You can't hide on this field.
Driven out of play. We asked John Jay about Thomas's progressions in the outfield and what's the biggest challenge, and he told us you just have to trust your instincts that the ball is going to be where you think it's going to be. You see the ball at contact, react, and go.
Well, with the experience I had in the outfield, I think the line drive right at you is the difficult part. You can take some experience, go out there, you can read balls off the bat. There's a lot of game feel to it when you are doing that during batting practice. But for Thomas Ajayci, you have to be athletic, and that's what he showed, especially on that first play.
No balls, 2 strikes. Pitch number 4 is outside. John also said it's one thing to do it in spring training. It's another when you get to the big league ballparks and the second, third, or even fourth decks to contend with, and all the fans.
Well, you got the high sky in the spring training that gives you problems, but yeah, it's the depth perception with different ballparks.
Swing and a miss. Good changeup. And 3 strikeouts already for Peralta, who had over 200 of them last year.
Peralta has had a very good fastball early, and he's thrown 2 good changeups to get outs. One on the fly ball to right field with Gorman, and that one really had some depth to it to get the strikeout.
10 strikeouts in his first 6 2/3 innings for the Mets. Here's Church. Nathan looking to break into the hit column in the series. He's 0 for 8. And drives that toward left. Soto, playing in Ferguson, is there and makes the catch. And it's a 1-2-3 St. Louis second. No score. It's game 3 at Busch. You're watching Cardinals TV, presented by Bet365. That's our pal T-Dog, who supplies us with bratwursts here at the ballpark, and he settles the age-old debate. What is the proper condiment for a hot dog?
I'm with BT. It's mustard, and then if you have something on it, I'm not a relish guy. You relish guy?
Sure, yeah, like it.
I love ketchup, but you got to have mustard with that ketchup. Ketchup alone, I'm out.
Marcus Semien leads off for the Mets and shoots one on a wicked hop to Mason, who flips that off target, but Burley off the bag nimbly. with the tag on the shoulder, and that's the 4th ground ball out for Liberatore.
Matthew Liberatore's opening day start was good, but Libby wasn't satisfied, not even close. He told me, I would have preferred to go deeper. He said, I always go back to my first career win. That was 2022 against Milwaukee, 5 shutout innings. Libby said after that game, Waino trash talked me, said I was a 5 and dive guy. Libby does not want to be that guy, Chip.
Way to avoid 5 and fly is pitch efficiently. He's done that. His 30th pitch about to come with 1 out in the 3rd inning. And how do you pitch efficiently? Do that. Get ahead in the count.
I think fastball command is going to get that, but also he has to pick his times to get that swing and miss, because it's important to get a big strikeout at times.
Tapped back to the mound. Libby's got all the time in the world and lobs that one over. 5 ground ball outs, 2 away. Tyrone Taylor is next. I was talking with Ricky Horton about that before the game, and he said an old teammate of his in the minor leagues who was down on a rehab told him, how many pitches do you need to get 3 strikes? Well, it depends. He said, but you can't get strike 3 before you get strike 2.
Right.
So don't make your nastiest pitch early in the count. Get ahead and then go into A1 pitch mode.
Yeah, the master of that was Greg Maddux, in my opinion. He knew how to do that the best, and he was consistent about it. But really, he embarrassed you with location and also varying speeds. I think Matthew Liberatore has understood how to step on the gas when he needs to, especially with the velocity. He'll have that up and away miss, but he'll back it up with that breaking ball that will get swing and miss.
Even count for Tyrone Taylor, his first at bat of the year. And he hits that one towards second. Tricky hop. JJ stayed with it, and Libby's faced the minimum. The Mets have gotten 1 ball out of the infield. 6 ground ball outs for Libby as we head to the home 3rd. St. Louis Cardinals baseball is presented by your Mid-America Chevy dealers and by BJC Healthcare. You deserve extraordinary care. Jim Hayes in the Cardinals dugout. Mark Sweeney, Chip Carey in the booth on a rainy day in St. Louis. Matthew Liberatore, Mark, has been excellent. Just 7 pitches in a 1-2-3 top of the 3rd. So we'll see if the Cardinals can break through against Freddie Peralta. The man in the batter's box knows a thing or two about this guy. Pedro Pajes had a big day against Peralta in September 2 years ago.
Well, interesting. I think Pedro really wanted to challenge that. It's very difficult to challenge that first pitch of an at bat. They're still realizing when to pull the trigger, but you could see him hesitate just a little bit.
Nick Lentz is our home plate arbiter today. Edwin Moscoso, Vic Carapazza, Hunter Wendelstedt are on the bases. 2 well-called games behind the plate in the first 2 of this series. And that one got a piece of somebody on the Mets bench. Hope he's all right. Oh,
wow.
Ground ball to Lindor. He's going to toss across in time. 1 out. Second ground ball out for Mr. Peralta. Might have been Troy Snitker, the Mets hitting coach, that took the brunt of that foul ball. Hope Troy's okay. As Victor digs in, that foul ball was 101 miles an hour off the bat. It's funny too how, remember years ago when baseball decided to put the netting up around the ballparks, everybody was screaming and hollering about we don't need it, or this is a bad idea. What about the view?
Yeah, that's the greatest idea.
As fast as that was to the dugouts, they might ask for a little netting there too.
How about Bo Bichette now honoring that bunt that Victor Scott has in his arsenal? He swung the bat really well last night. I love the performance that he had. 2 hits on the night, but you also know you've already created that with the success against the Rays with the bunt.
Victor 4th in the league in batting to start the season, but the changeup's given him some trouble, and Peralta doubles up and has struck out 4 batters on the first 9 he's seen today.
Chevy pitch tracks will show the depth of this changeup. It's a diving way of tunneling on his fastball. He's got a good feel for that early in this game.
So another chance for Weatherholt. JJ chased a high fastball his first time. And are the Mets going to challenge? They apparently will. So it did curl around the plate. Alvarez guessed wrong, and pretty wide miss. So New York loses a challenge. It's a 1-0 count for JJ Weatherholt.
It's interesting because you've seen some teams, especially after JJ Weatherholt's first hit, which was the home run. It was off the plate and up. And that's what Peralta's attacking with the fastball.
This guy knows how to pitch. 3 consecutive seasons of 200 or more strikeouts. That is a rarity. And he did that in only 176 2/3 innings. And I say only because the era of the 200 inning starting pitcher is also rare in today's game. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Changeup is dancing. It is darting. He has struck out 5 Cardinals amongst the first 10 batters faced here in Game 3. As we head to the 4th inning, it is time for our BJC Healthcare Injury Report. Mike Tauchman, some real bad luck.
Yeah, and he was a non-roster invitee into the Mets camp and looked like he was going to make the team. And he had that injury, so they'll wait for that to heal up.
So the Mets, top of the order, up for a second time. 9 up, 9 down for Liberatore with 6 ground ball outs. Tell you what, the Cardinals starters are making good use of their infield D. That one rifled toward left. And the grab made by Sajaci, well read, and Thomas handles his first chance. Only the second ball hit to the outfield against Matthews so far in the game. Well hit, but 1 out. Here's Soto. You know, surprising stat for Soto. For me, I had to go double check it because I didn't remember this last year. 43 homers for Soto. Did you know he stole 38 bases?
Yeah.
I don't think he gets enough credit for his base running ability as a major league player.
Well, he has good speed, but also good instincts. And I think it translates for what he is trying to do at the plate. And he can pick and choose the off-speed pitches to get some of those stolen bases.
Everything free and easy for Liberatore to this point. Knock on wood. High slider, but it had Soto fooled.
Had visions of those 43 home runs on that swing last year.
That was one of those, that pitch was so bad it was good.
Some of those backup breaking balls always give hitters problems.
A ball and 2 strikes for Soto. And that was awfully close. Go it there again. It's 2-2.
Yeah, Pedro tried to frame that pitch. Watch the execution. Just tries to pull it in just a little bit.
Yeah, Tom Glavine used to say that that backup breaking ball, he said it was the greatest pitch in the world because you can't do it. It just happens by accident, and the hitter, as you said, has no idea where the ball's going.
It's the most frustrating thing when you come in because you're expecting a certain break. and then you have that back up and you pop it up. It's a little frustrating in the dugout.
Soto chases a slider up and out of the zone. In, out, up, down. Libby using all 4 quadrants and has his first strikeout.
Yeah, I love Libby, how he had the presence of the fastball in the previous pitch, then sped him up, and he got him out of the strike zone, elevated on a breaking ball.
That's a tough guy to strike out. Feather in Libby's cap. Now Bichette's up. Remember, a 9-pitch sequence in the opening inning before Bo flied to right. Bichette, the product of the Maitland Little League, which is just outside of Orlando.
Do you know anyone else that was in that Little League?
Yeah, my kids were in the same Little League, but they didn't have as good a coaching. Trust me.
You weren't the hitting coach for that Little League?
No. 1 ball, 1 strike. That's fouled away.
Didn't you want to say, hey, Dante, can you come over and
Got
help my kids?
I don't think there are enough hours in the day for Dante to help my group. But Bo's a great kid, and I hope he has a great run in New York. Well, if you can play there, you can play anywhere. As Liberatore is 1-2.
Well, as we mentioned earlier, what he did last year for the Toronto Blue Jays and coming back with that severe knee injury he had really shows the worth of what he did, and he had some great moments. They had to help him defensively, but he was there for his team when they needed him the most.
So another long sequence with Bichette, whose former team, the Blue Jays, has a series victory on the line today against Colorado. Rockies trying to win their first road series since last August. They got a big start from Max Scherzer, who went 6 last night. To right. And right at Church, who gallops in. It's 12 up, 12 down for Liberatore. 4 scoreless innings. And Ivan Herrera will try to get things going for the Cardinals in a scoreless Game 3. Time for our Hyundai in the driver's seat feature in St. Louis. Check out the leaderboards on the ABS challenges. I think when it's around 50-50, that means the catchers and batters know the strike zone, and the umpires are doing a really good job too.
Yeah, and I think that is really what has to be accentuated, is these are very talented guys at their craft. The umpires are very good, and I love the ABS system. We asked Ollie about it too, and he is for it.
Ivan Herrera had some fun with that last night. Jim Hayes.
2 successful challenges in 1 at bat for Ivan. Not unprecedented this season, but unusual. He told me, I know my strike zone. I knew those pitches were balls. He says he likes the ABS system as a hitter, but not as a catcher. He says under the new system, umpires have a smaller zone.
1 ball, 1 strike. On the ground toward third. Bichette retreats. Quick release. Skips it off the grass. That was nicely done for out number 1.
We've talked about the adjustments at Bo Bichette. A normal shortstop, he's not going to unseat Francisco Lindor, but that's one of those plays there that is just instinctual. That 1 hop to the first baseman.
Burleson bounced into a force play. Should have been a double play, but Lindor forgot how many outs there were in the first inning. The Cardinals couldn't do anything with that as a strikeout ended the opening inning. Talked a lot about the impressive on-base streak of Juan Soto against the Cardinals. Well, Alec Burleson has one against the Mets. He's reached in 14 straight games against New York and has a hit in 6 consecutive games against the Mets pitching staff.
Chip, it really looks like a lot of the opposition is throwing backwards to Alec Burleson, throwing a lot of off speed and finishing him off with the velocity. And I think the approach, because Alec has earned this, is that he hits to all fields, but they're going to mess with him. They're going to act like he has 2 strikes on him, and that's the approach.
1 ball, 2 strikes. On the ground to second, and Semion's got that. And Burleson's retired on the ground for the second time. 2 up, 2 down. Registration's open now for the Cardinals Kids Clinics presented by Quick Trip, featuring 18 clinics for kids age 6 to 13 and for all abilities. You learn about fielding, batting, and throwing and more from Cardinals alumni. Information at cardinals.com/clinics. Scott Terry does an amazing job with the Cardinals Kids Clinics. All bolt to left and right at Soto, and that retires the Cardinals in the 4th. The duel is on at Busch Stadium. It's a good one. Liberatore and Peralta scoreless.
Top 5 in St. Louis. Chance to talk it over with first base coach Stubby Clapp, who also works with the infielders. I got to ask you about Mason Wynn, who's already been dazzling this season. What can you expect from him now that he has 2 healthy knees?
Just, to be steady every day. Keep him on the diamond and stay steady for us and play shortstop every day.
How about J.J. Weatherholt, young guy, handful of games under his belt at the big league level. Certainly doesn't look like that. What are your impressions of J.J.?
No, he's mature. He understands where he needs to be on the ball field. He understands his whereabouts and making a nice adjustment over to second base.
I know you got things to do. Thanks for the chat.
Thank you.
Chip, that was Stubby.
Canadian Baseball Hall of Famer Stubby Clapp.
Congratulations, Stubby, and he's rocking a sweet beard too, by the way. I'm jealous about guys that have the hair, right?
Well, you and Stubby have something alike, at least as far as the dome is concerned, as Luis Robert bats. Libby 13 up, 13 down to start his day, and that one at the bottom of the zone. Luis Angel Acuna and Truman Pauly went to the White Sox for Luis Robert Jr. All right, Pajes is going to challenge. I don't think Nick Lenz's microphone is working properly. Hey, he's got one. Yeah, see? Finally.
You gotta love
Congratulations.
it. It's so good.
No balls, 2 strikes.
Pedro was losing sleep after the challenges he had in the previous games.
Meanwhile, Libby just keeps on rolling merrily along. This is like what McGreevy did the other day for St. Louis. Deep short. Mason's got it. Fast runner, but he can't outrun that arm. It's 14 in a row retired to start the game. 2 outs, bases empty. Here's a quick word from Rally House.
The season starts at Rally House. From jerseys and hats to tumblers for game day, it's where outrageous selection meets every fan's style.
Here's Mark Vientos. I think one of the interesting things for the Mets will be defensively. Bichette hasn't played third base until this year. Vientos 3 games at first base last year. Polanco hasn't played first base an awful lot. How will that hold up over the course of the year?
Yeah, I think they're relying on their middle infield, but you got to have that consistency.
There goes the no-hitter, a bullet off the side wall. Vientos, big turn. He's going to try for second. Mason slipped as he tried to throw that one in, and New York has its first base runner. A 2-out double from Vientos, his second hit of the year.
Our Chevy pitch tracks will show the location into Vientos. He loves the ball in. You see that down and in swing, the line drive down the line. What's impressive, we talked about the gold glove work that Mason Wynn has, but how about the hustle coming out and trying to get him to second base? That's the effort that you love to see.
So the first time Libby's been in the stretch in the game comes in the 5th inning. There are 2 outs. And he gets ahead of Semien, who rolled out to shortstop his first time.
You see that cut fastball. That's really hard, and going inside. It's hard to stay inside that baseball. I still twitch with swings that I took off of those pitches. Not good.
No balls and a strike. He does it every time. Tom Mee or Brian Shapiro, they break out the Rex Hudler impersonation. Go to your garage, get the ball peen hammer out, bro. And whack yourself in the leg.
Ouch.
50th career double for Vientos has him in scoring position. And that one close. 2 balls and a strike. The art of pitching is going to change with replay now because hitters know the strike zone so well. The art of getting chases is that much more difficult, I think. There's 2 pitches in a row from Liberatore that maybe a decade ago guys are offering at because it's too close to take.
Yeah, and they're also being called. I think I don't know how it feels with you, but it does feel like the strike zone has shrunk a little bit with this ABS system.
It's modified for every batter. And now the 3-1. And boy, you can't make many better pitches than that. And I think Libby's going to challenge that one. A rare pitcher challenge, or is he? Yep. I think this is only the second pitcher's challenge in the big leagues. And you know, pitchers think everything's a strike, and Libby guessed wrong. Pretty good pitch, but it's ball 4, and now the Mets have a threat, 2 on with 2 outs. Friday's April 10th. The Red Sox are here, and you can take home a Cardinals golf hat if you join us at Busch Stadium. That promo is presented by Central Bank. Get your tickets and details at cardinals.com/promotions.
We mentioned about how good these umpires are too. You wonder how emotionally they take it. I mean, obviously they're challenged because it makes them feel bad, but when they are right, do they fist pump at all? Do they give it like that inner fist pump?
I hope so. I'd like to see some of that flair, as you were.
Yeah. They do. Collectively, they are very good at their craft.
Alvarez takes just outside. Here are the RISP numbers. Pitching's been awfully good. Second chance for the Mets. 2 on, 2 out. That one found the mark. It's an even count. I like the ABS. I think the spirit of the rule was to correct the egregious misses. You can't blame the umpire if he misses something that's a 1/10 of an inch off or inside the strike zone. But there's no other way to do it.
Yeah. And I like the strategy when it comes to your first 2 challenges, but I also like the rule where you're added 1 in extra innings. I think that's very important.
A ball and a strike. And look, the goal is to get every pitch right. And you can't fault the system or Major League Baseball for that lofty goal.
Well, I'm a human element guy, and I think you can't take that away. But also emotionally, I like the ABS system. It gets the fans involved. You've heard it across the league. And I like that aspect of it because it's emotional. We saw a couple nights ago where it was a 2-1 pitch. It becomes, rather than 2-2, it was 3-1. It changes everything about that at bat from the hitter's perspective.
And the fans get into it too, and that's who we should be serving most. And I applaud that baseball has kind of the tennis style of replay. It's instantaneous, like the Cyclops machine.
Right.
That they use at Wimbledon and other venues. So the early returns, 2 thumbs up. Pitch, swing and a miss. Libby loses the no-hitter, but not the shutout. Mets strand 2. Their struggles with risk continue in a scoreless 5th. If you're hungry for something big, bold, and stacked, you've got to check out the new Big Arch Burger at McDonald's. Nothing better than a birthday at Busch Stadium.
Happy birthday. Maybe taking a little nap. It's beautiful.
That beautiful young lady is seeing a wonderfully pitched game. Peralta and Liberatore have allowed 1 hit each. Peralta has set down 11 straight. Liberatore has set down 15 of his first 17 Mets hitters. So it is number one starter day all around the major leagues, and not surprisingly, the aces of their respective staffs are shoving in the early going on this rainy afternoon at Busch Stadium. The mists have cleared. We can see the top of the arch, so that's a good omen as Gorman, Sajaci, and Church are coming up.
Now, Nolan Gorman's first at bat, he got him with a changeup just off the front, and it was a fly ball to right field. Hopefully he stays back and goes to that left center. That's what they've been trying to incorporate, trying to get him to be square when he lands that foot early.
And Peralta's got a devastating changeup.